Dodge the bullet.
Happy New Year.
Same to you. Morning. Same to you. Questions?
Questions for Coach?
Shared, I realize across the team, all of you are competitors. After a shutout last week, what were the adjustments or how did that impact preparation for Tampa?
Well, it's obviously a low moment as far as being able to kind of build upon some stuff from a game-to-game week as far as what we've been doing offensively. From an adjustment standpoint, it's about being able to, myself, reflect on not trying to be too aggressive at times and understanding how we're built and what's going to give us an opportunity to be able to be involved in games. But also it's addressing some of the needs when it comes to protecting the quarterback better, having better answers as far as the ball coming out faster, and obviously sticking to how we're built overall offensively.
Thomas, when you think back over the course of this season, what have you learned about Bryce that you didn't know going into the process?
Yeah, I think it's always difficult to assess either him or anybody else how you handle difficult moments. I think we had an idea just based on what we kind of investigated about him throughout the process with guys at Alabama and guys kind of close to him. But obviously having a chance to see him firsthand, deal with kind of an up and down and kind of more so down at sometimes throughout the year. But as far as his approach every single day being consistent when it comes to how he communicates with the coaches and the players as well, as far as being able to self-reflect, but also, like I said before at times, has to learn, like I do at times as well, about not being so hard and critical on yourself and being able to kind of bounce back when it comes to stuff you can control. But him being resilient, him being able to self-reflect, but also be a problem solver itself has been a big part of what I've learned from throughout this year.
Is there anything mechanically or with footwork that you'd like to see him work on this offseason?
Like I said before, as far as like his fundamentals and techniques, I feel the same way about us across the board offensively. I know it's kind of not directly addressing your question, but we've had a lot of issues when it comes to all of our overall fundamentals and techniques as far as being able to address that to kind of get better. But I think being a rookie quarterback in a new environment, new system, he's done a really good job as far as adapting and adjusting when it comes to him progressing from where he started from a footwork and fundamental standpoint, but also, I mean, he's a natural thrower of the football, so being able to build upon that and kind of work on the lower body half from an offseason standpoint.
Specifically, I've heard some of the analysts who've called your games talk about him being up on his toes a lot.
Yeah.
Is that something that y'all saw in college, or do you think that's an issue?
I mean, people always have their opinions or thought process about whether it be a quarterback or anybody else as far from a fundamental standpoint. But as part of his game and how he's played, I think, again, being able to continue to build upon what he's done this year overall is going to be a big part of him having success in the future. So I'm not going to address those directly because that's kind of word of mouth, people's opinions about different things. But that's Bryce.
Sorry, go ahead. A lot of people have talked about Bryce's toughness through the season, but you've also been through a lot of changes, coaching changes, et cetera. What's been the number one thing that's allowed you to keep being locked in each week?
Yeah, I think just how I'm naturally wired, like I talked before about how I was just raised in general, as far as being able to be committed to a process, as far as being able to focus on what I can control every single day and block out the outside, know there's anything else that I can't control, which is hard is position and role. You want to be able to control everything and everybody to make everything better. But I think my commitment to this organization that gave me an opportunity to these players as far as trying to maximize their careers is what kind of gets me going every single day.
And second, this week being the last game, is this a chance for you to get more outside the box of what you normally do routine-wise, play calling, take more shots, more chances, just kind of?
After last week, absolutely not. But I think I kind of got more from a standpoint of being able to add some couple wrinkles here and there. And again, every game is different for sure. I was kind of a halfway joke, but I think about being able to stay committed to what's going to give us an opportunity to be successful. Had some success in the first game against Tampa as far as some stuff we did from a normal D&D standpoint, but situation-wise, being better, particularly on third down, is going to be able to a big point of emphasis for this week.
Thomas, to the outside eye, Bryce is appearing to make more play changes at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Is that something he's doing, and what is that the product of?
Yeah, I think it's a product of his overall development, but also some stuff we've been able to add when I had an opportunity to kind of check back overall offensively, giving him the freedom to have two players in the huddle from a call standpoint, but also continue to be more involved when it comes to making protection calls up front and taking plays along the scrimmage as far as based on that overall look.
Has that part of his game developed as quickly as you wanted it to?
Yes and no. I think, again, I'm a football coach. I'm unrealistic as far as how fast some stuff should happen in general, but I think he was wired that way from the get-go as far as his overall processing ability. I think it's more about how we're kind of built around him as far as how much we've kind of been able to implement week in and week out.
I know we won't get to talk to you next week, but what positives do you take from this season as a play caller, getting to do that for the first time?
I mean, to me, it's just being able to understand how to handle adversity. Like I've said before, I mean, adversity, people always talk about growth and development and wanting to become stronger at whatever. But no one wants to have to endure and go through difficult moments. And it sucks in the meantime when you're kind of going through it at the beginning. But I've been through enough in my life. This is obviously different, first time in this kind of capacity. But understanding what that brings from a future standpoint when you handle stuff the right way, I think it's a little bit easier with some stuff when it comes to how you handle address a press conference when things are going great and everybody has positive stuff to say about you versus the other way. But I think just overall being able to maximize the opportunities, but also think about future-wise about how you build a staff when it comes to how you implement a system and also adapting to the players you have.
If you are interviewing somewhere else or here, what would you say was your kind of best moment from this year, or what would you hang your hat on?
I appreciate the question, but again, I'm just going to be focused on today and as far as what I'm doing right now. I think being able to be evaluated by the outside world, even here when it comes to future stuff, will happen when it comes, but I'm focused on the Bucs and as far as our overall approach to them.
What would you say have been Icky's big issues of protection this year?
I think say overall consistency when it comes to he's very talented and just trusted from a fundamental standpoint, but also me being able to kind of be more adaptive when it comes to giving those guys some help at times, especially against a dynamic rusher from week in and week out. But I think he's going to be fine in the future. So just trying to continue to build and be able to maximize his ability.
My sense is that last year, especially the second half of the year, they did give him some help. Is that something you're saying maybe you could have done a little more of?
Yeah, I think guys in this league from an outside rusher standpoint are paid a bunch of money to go sack the quarterback. And those guys naturally are always going to be wired more athletic than most tackles. So I think being able, whether it be him or anybody else, is important to be aware of that from a third down standpoint when it comes to either the ball coming out fast or giving those guys some help on the side from a chip protection standpoint.
Hey, Coach, at running back, as good a story as Hubbard has been this year, Sanders, how has he handled down year for him?
Yeah, I think, again, we talk about the question I addressed a minute ago as far as how you handle the adversity. I mean, it's been a tough year for him, and I think it's been more of a product of how well Chuba has played, but also how we're built overall from an offensive standpoint. But I'm not going to say it hasn't been tough for him. He's obviously a competitive player, very talented football player, but come to work every single day, so continue to try to find ways to get him involved in the game plan.
Going forward, good 1-2 punch seasons going forward?
Absolutely. No question.
You talked about adversity. What's been your favorite part of the season?
Well, obviously, winning is a big part of this game. That's probably the highlight points when it comes to what you put the work in for and having success on every single day. But I think also being able to see how people respond when they don't get what they want or things become tough. I think, myself included, because you never know until you actually force to that same position. I think everybody talks about in the offseason from a leadership standpoint about how to respond from adversity or how to kind of weather the storm. But it's different when that storm actually comes and sits over top of your head, how you respond to it. So I think that's probably my favorite part about learning more about our guys and about myself as well.
Is there like a punch list you can look at to go, okay, Bryce improved here, here, and here as a rookie. These are the steps he needed to take to kind of move forward in his career?
You said a punch list?
Yeah.
I think it's about this week-to-week evaluation as far as what he was asked to do from a standpoint of the communication in the huddle, making some changes in the line of scrimmage potentially, but also just overall mechanics, operation, and get his guys in the best spot to make plays for him is how we kind of evaluate on week-to-week base. I think after the season I have a chance to kind of more reflect over the overall grand scheme of things with him, with everybody else, but that's kind of more the approach week in and week out. If that answers your question. Hopefully that answers your question. So.
What went wrong this year?
And that's a loaded question. Maybe a good one for a last question. But I think as far as just the overall consistency, the communication, and us always continue to find the best way to put our guys in the best spot to be successful. I think anytime you have change can obviously be good, but also take some time to adjust and adapt to. But that's a pretty in-depth combo we can probably have at a different time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Have a good day.